Right from the start in this fairly long lecture with lots of little parts to it, I invite students to offer some thoughts on questions that seem fairly intuitive and helped to build understanding about our eventual goal, which is to figure out how forces combine when they're at right angles. Having gotten their thoughts about the general direction of the net force that FA and FB will combine to create, I show them how that force diagram, where some object may be at the vertex there, is converted into a so-called vector diagram. Where the vectors are added tip to tail. So in this case, shifting FA out to the end of FB to create a vector diagram. Once we reach that point, it's pretty simple to draw upon students' previous knowledge of the Pythagorean theorem to get the magnitude of the resultant force, and to think through the right triangle geometry of the sine, cosine, and tangent function, and specifically the tangent function here to figure out that angle. Having landed there, it's then, I think, wise to just kind of walk through a problem together where FA and FB are identified with some simple numbers, and in fact students probably will recognize right away that this is going to be a 3, 4, 5 right triangle, but keeping it in the familiar context is very helpful, and allowing students to kind of work through a problem where they sort of know the answer and can explore the process can be really helpful. So here is the solution to the 3, 4, 5 right triangle, showing how we would use the Pythagorean theorem and the inverse tangent function to get a complete answer of 5 newtons at 53.1 degrees north of east. Having built up an understanding piece by piece with a number of small steps but understandable steps, we can then move the problem to its ultimate form, which is to think about how charges interact and how, if you had those 3 charges arranged in a right angle, how the resulting forces would also be at a right angle. And we work this problem together in class before I give students the opportunity to practice on the other 2 problems presented on the board.